Alright guys, welcome to this episode of Head-to-Head Battles. Today we're going to be talking about 5 budget decks under $75 that beat the meta. Beat the meta. Alright guys, so as always, if you like content like this, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell, this one right here. And then comment down below, what is your top 5 pick for budget decks that you feel like can compete with the meta, alright? So keep that in your mind for food for thought, and let's start this video. Roll the intro. Alright guys, so the number 1 deck on my list right now is Zombies. Now, let me explain to you what Zombies do. We have Eldritch, Eldritch Invoked, Eldritch Synchro, Eldritch, and Eldritch Too Expensive. So, Zombies, old school Zombies, pure Zombies, for under $75 is a really good deck, okay? You have cards like Doom King Baladrock. Doom King is the old school boss, okay? It flows from graveyard, so it does Eldritch things, and on top of that, it negates. Like, it's a card that can negate. Can Eldritch do that? No. It requires other cards. So maybe Doom King Baladrock is the better card. No, but Doom King Baladrock, for it to be live, you do need Zombie World on the field. Zombie World is obviously the field spell for the zombie archetype. Now, Zombie World just essentially says any monster, when it touches the field or graveyard, is a zombie monster, right? So already right there, we can already kind of see some synergy with cards like Rivalry of the Warlords. What does this card say? It says that players can only control one monster of a single typing. And if Zombie World is making everything into zombies, then I think you win. You might win. And then you have the Baladrock coming in and negating, just negate. I think you win. And for pure consistency's sakes, Rivalry of the Warlords is actually really easy to get to. If you're playing cards like Curious the Lightsworn Dominion, you can dump it to graveyard and then summon Nightmare Griffin, which will have it set for next turn, which is when you need it, right? And on top of that, Zombie World is at 3, okay? Necro World Banshee is also at 3. And then you have Terraforming and Metaverse. So that you're playing a lot of copies of Zombie World, okay? And also another really good tech choice in this deck is actually Super Polymerization. Now, in July of 2020, not only are we suffering from a lot of things, we're suffering from Super Poly not being as good anymore, okay? With a lot of different variants running around and a lot of synchro decks, Super Poly is just not that impactful, and there are much better cards that you do want to play other than Super Poly. But we're a budget deck, and Super Poly is really good in this deck. Why? You have a card called Dragon, Necro, Nether, Soul, Dragon. Dragon, Necro, Nether, Soul, Dragon. Okay, so what does this card do? Let's read it together. First, you need 2 zombie type monsters. It's a good thing everything is zombies because of Zombie World. It must first be fusion summoned. Alright, monsters cannot be destroyed by battle with this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled a monster that has an original level, that monster's attack becomes 0. Also, if that monster is still face up on the field, special summon 1 Dark Soul token, and its level and attack become equal to the original level and attack of that monster. Alright, and you can only control 1 Dragon Necro, Nether Soul Dragon. So, as we are reading this, you guys can already kind of see where it comes in handy, okay? Zombies will absolutely break boards, and on top of that, it has a floating negate with Zombie World on the field. There are a lot of tech choices that you can play and that are really cheap staples, right? Because if you are a zombie controlled deck and you are playing Rivalry of the Warlords, you can play cards like Metaverse into Mystic Mine, as well as even like Tekken and Field Barrier for the lulz, right? I mean, it's not a great card, but like it protects your field spell. All right, the next card on my list, and don't hate me for this, it's Necroz. Now, as you all know, we played in the YouTuber Grand Championships, and we got knocked out first round because Necroz was a really hard deck to learn. But Necroz is actually pretty budget if you're not playing in highest rarity, okay? As you know, Unicore recently came back to 3, and Unicore says monsters summoned from the extra deck, like your opponent's extra deck, can't activate their skills. So basically, like, you kind of just like summon Unicore and then protect Unicore with Valkyrius. And the thing was, like, I did super bad in the YouTubers Grand Championship, but it taught me a lot about the deck, okay? Now, this deck relies on its ritual spells in Necroz, Kaleidoscope, Mirror, and Cycle. Now, these 3 spell cards will help you kind of bring out all your Necroz monsters, and your Necroz monsters inherently bring out other Necroz spell and monsters, right? Because you're going to dump Brio for a monster, a ritual monster, and you're going to dump Colossalos for a spell. And the deck inherently wants to protect Unicorn, right? Like Necroz of Trishula kind of acts like a Trishula and gives you a layer of protection for your Unicorn. And then like I mentioned before, you have cards like Valkyrius, which essentially end the battle phase, right? And then on top of that, we just got leaks for Battle of Legends Armageddon, and Necroz Gungnir is getting reprinted. That card was $17 to $20 and it's getting reprinted. So the deck is even more budget and even more affordable, guys. And outside of that, Necroz, I feel truly is a going second, break your board type of deck, right? Because Brio will bounce 2 extra deck monsters. Most meta decks play out of their extra deck. Like literally the extra deck is so tight, like you're not fitting in any like tech choices for your extra deck because there are set cards that you need to play, whether it be Needle Fiber, Aurora Dawn, Link Cross, or like cards like Cross Sheep if you're playing fusion variant decks. Like the extra deck is just too tight for you to play. So Brio actually comes up a lot more than you would think. Now, you might think this deck suffers from inconsistencies, but it actually doesn't. If you play this deck with the incantation cards, its consistency level goes through the roof, and actually, like, most hands are playable. You might not be breaking every board, but with the right hand, you really can. And I would highly recommend not to sleep on this deck. If you want to see a really dope variant, and I know I do this a lot, but go check out Pack's channel. Pack has a really, really good Necroz build, and he's beating me quite often with it. Now, the next deck on my list is actually Tenyis. Now, I know in the comment section, everyone was like, bro, how come your budget list doesn't have Tenyis, dude? Where are Tenyis, bro? Here they are, okay? I listened to everyone in my comments. I actually comment to every single one of you, and I hope you're not lonely down there. So a lot of people actually do sleep on Tenyis because I have slept on Tenyis. Now, Tenyis, what makes this deck really good is it's really splashable, right? And the engine isn't as big as you think, and pure Tenyis is a pretty good deck, all right? A lot of cards that you might be familiar with because they are splashable is like Vishuda, Adhara, right? Because these are all cards that even Adamance Potato, Rock players do play this in their decks in some variants, right? And as you know, or if you didn't know, all the main deck Tenyis special summon themselves if you control no effect monsters, right? And your Link 2s and most of your Links have the clause that they are normal monsters, right? So you have free extenders all day. The first Tenyi extra deck monster I want to go over is Shaman of the Tenyi. So let's read this card together, okay? You can discard 1 card, then target one worm monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from the extra deck except Tenyi monsters. When an attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. You can only use each effect of Shaman of the Tenyi once per turn. And the next card I want to talk about is Tenyi Spirit of the Sahasrara. Tenyi Sarah. So let's read this card together, alright? While you control a face-up non-effect monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target effect monsters for attacks. Also, your opponent cannot target effect monsters on the field with card effects. Quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, special summon 1 Tenyi Spirit token. This token's attack becomes that targeted monster's original attack, and you can only use this effect once per turn. So as you can see, this deck can be played in a couple of different variants, but generally speaking, you are playing more of a control style deck while being able to put damage on the board, okay? And on top of that, if you're wondering how to resolve these effects, you have 2 Tenyi Link monsters that are technically non-effect monsters, which is Monk of the Tenyi and Berserker of the Tenyi. These are your vanilla beat sticks because after your Shaman and Sarah, we'll call it Sarah, use their effects, you have these 2 rather large beaters on the field to help you push for game. And then there are even synchro monsters called Draco Berserker of the Tenyi. I think that's what it's called. But not a lot of people use that card because it kind of conflicts with the winning strategy of pure Tenyis. Another really interesting card that you can use with this deck is actually Mermare, right? Because Mermare says you can lower the card's level by 1 and summon 1 token. So essentially you can link climb with Mermare and still have tokens on the field as fodder for your Shaman of the Tenyi and Sarah. So it's actually a pretty big brain deck if you really think about it, and if you play correctly, I can see you winning some games with this deck, alright? And overall, the deck is actually pretty consistent. A really good way to test a deck's consistency is to just kind of sit there, take out your deck box, take the deck out of the box, shuffle the deck, open 10 test hands, right? and see how many of those are bricked. If you brick more than 3 times, it's not consistent, right? You want to see at least a 70% consistency in your opening hand, and then the rest of it kind of like leans on your deck and how strong your deck is and how good of a player you actually are. So the next deck on my list is actually Orcust. Now, Orcust used to be that one deck that I like really didn't like because I could never beat it, okay? Now, the deck did lose some consistency with Nightmare Mermaid going bye-bye, but the deck is still really good. Like, their field spell is actually like really broken because it turns all of your Orcust graveyard monster effects into quick effects, which is really annoying because like you got rid of it once and now you have to deal with it one more time. And because the Orcust engine is kind of like medium sized, you can throw in a lot of splashable engines, right? Like Cyber Dragons was widely played in the Orcust variant. And on top of that, you have Pure Orcust, right? And then you have like Striker Orcust. So like any deck that can put its small engine into any deck, Orcust was like a pretty good absorber for those. And 2 really cheap variants you can run are Machina Orcust and Scrap Orcust. Both decks put up really good boards and leave a lot of interruptions because of the field spell. It's the field spell, just ban the field spell. Just bring everything back, ban the field spell. And you're telling me, wait, Susu, Scrap Recycler is an expensive card. Well, not anymore. Scrap Recycler has been reprinted and reprinted and reprinted. The card is actually really cheap, and you can probably pick up the entire Orcust core and the Scrap core for probably $75, which is directly in line with the video. That should be like the title of the video, actually, I think about it. And like, comment down below, how many times have you lost Orcust variant? Like every week at locals, I will lose against an Orcust variant. It was the worst. Now, if you are familiar with Orcust, you know what their M board looks like, right? They have their field spell, they have their set crescendo, they have their Galateas, they could go into Dingirsu to send, and then you have crescendo to interrupt, and then you have their field spell to have the quick effects in graveyard. Like, it's really, really annoying. Now, the final deck on my list is Subterror Gurus, okay? You can't say budget and under 75 and not talk about Subterror Subterror Guru, all right? So why is this deck really good? Well, next to Geist, I feel like it's probably the second best control deck that you can pick up. And if you're really good and you know most deck interactions, I don't see you losing with this deck. Now, the main being is Subterror Guru can play under, there can be only one. Now, I say this in a lot of my videos where I do mention Subterror Guru, but I mention it often because I need you to hear this, okay? Subterror Guru can play under there can be only one. Most meta decks cannot. Let's talk about rocks, for example. Adamantipatators. Can I play under TC-Boo? Eldritch. Can I play under TC-Boo? Alright? Salads. Cannot play under TC-Boo. Even Altergeist cannot play under there can be only one. The most basic strategy of this deck is to go field spell, search Guru, right? And then you summon Guru face down, you activate the field spell on the Guru to flip it face up, and then Guru will search you your Fiendish. Now, Fiendish is an Omni Negate from hand, which is really good. So let's say you have an Ash in hand, your Fiendish in hand, your Guru face up, a TC-Boo set with a Solemn Judgment. Who's playing through that? Like, TC-Boo alone will stop most decks in their tracks, all right? And another funny thing is, you know how one of my favorite cards is Golden Castle of Stromberg and it's a field spell, and people don't read the field spell? People actually don't read Hidden City either. Like, read your cards, all right? And just in case you don't know what Hidden City does, let's read it together. I'm gonna blur myself out. So Hidden City says, when this card is activated, you can add one Subterror monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can change one face down defense position Subterror monster you control to face up attack or defense. Once per turn, when your opponent monsters declare an attack, you can change one face down defense Subterror monster you control to face up attack or defense, then you can negate the attack. So let's quickly go over like a quick chain, right? What you would do is your opponent activates anything, right? You Phoenix Negate, which will flip your face up Subterror face down, which now makes your Hidden City live. On top of that, you have TC-Boo, right? But let's say the normal summon monster they have can run over your Guru. They'll attack into your Guru, you activate Hidden City, negates the attack, you can flip the Guru back up, search for other Fiendish, or search your Umatrix, and just control the game state, right? Because any control deck, the main point is to obviously control your game state. And believe it or not, as you know, Susu is the OTK guy. Alright, comment down below if you agree if Susu is the OTK guy. And if you make fun of me by saying I'm the Shotgun Shogun, I'm banning you from the comment section, okay? So as you know, Subterrors can actually OTK. Subterror Final Battle is not once per turn, it's actually once per card. So if you have your Subterror Guru on the field and your Umatrix and they're both in attack position, you can chain Subterror Final Battle 2 Subterror final battles, merging the attacks of your Umatrix and merging the attacks of your Subterror Guru, which will effectively push you for game because that's just over 8,000 damage. So not only can this deck control really well, it can OTK pretty well as well. Pretty well as well, what? And the craziest thing about this deck is you really don't need Pot of Extravagance. Pot of Duality and your single card demise does enough. The biggest upside to Subterror Gurus is you're not really special summon reliant, so you can play Pot of Duality. But the one downside of it is you are dependent on your normal summon. In the case of Subterror Guru, I feel like it's definitely a double-edged sword, but it kind of leans more towards the blunter edge side. And Subterror Guru will always be my favorite control style deck over Geist because you just need to like think too much playing Geist, and after chain 3 I'm gone, dude. Like chain 4, like what is happening? Alright guys, so I hope you really enjoyed that list. Comment down below if you agree. And if you disagree, comment down below. Let's talk about it. Like I always enjoy chatting with you guys down in the comment section. And if you want to have a nice one-on-one chat with me, join our Discord. I'll have the link down below. We're very interactive with our community. And because, you know, we treat you guys like family. And I hope you treat us like your family. And as always, guys, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell to join the notification squad. And if this video can get 500 likes in 5 days, we'll be giving away a booster box of the most recent set. And make sure to follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/headsetbattles. We stream every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. EST. All right. I will see you there, or be a plushie. All right. So I don't want to keep you here too long, guys. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. I will catch you in the next one. This is Susu from Headset Battles, signing out.